Robert Griffin III. I could go on and on about this guy. He's a character. Anyway, he auditioned for CBS and Fox to become an analyst over, I want to say it was about a week ago. And by all accounts, knocked it out of the park. And he's got charisma. He speaks very well. He checks off all the boxes that a network would be looking for. And at his young age, you know, he should be able to tap into a different demographic than some of the older guys. So, you know, he is exactly what these networks are looking for. And he's like Brady Quinn in a sense. I look at it like a Brady Quinn, where your career's over a lot earlier than you would have liked it to. Every time I see Brady Quinn, I'm like, bro, you look like you're 20. You know, you should still be playing ball right now, but obviously it didn't work out for him. Anyway, I digress. And he just looks young. You know, Brady Quinn's got a baby face, but that's nor here nor there. The bottom line is, I saw Bob Griffin on socials the other day flexing, you know, with his shirt halfway up, talking about grinding in silence, working out in silence. And then I thought to myself, I really wanted to cuss. I said, I'm not going to cuss at him. One, he can't hear me. Two, he didn't give a shit. But I'm like, isn't that actually the opposite of working in silence? You declaring that you're working out on socials by showing off your physique. Isn't that you pretty much telling everybody and making sure everybody knows you're still working out and that you're in great shape? Is that really working out in silence? Anyway, I digress, because when I looked at that post, I said, he still doesn't get it. You want to show somebody a clip of you working in silence? You want to show somebody a clip of you working in silence, grinding in silence? Show them a clip of you throwing a football accurately. Show them a clip of you being able to spit out some verbiage of a play and go through your progressions quickly and accurately. Show them that, because that's the stuff you struggle with, not being in shape. You've always been a workout warrior. Even going all the way back to All In for week 1. Nobody's ever questioned your ability to tear the weight room to shreds. That's always been your thing. So you showing off your physique in the six pack and I'm working in silence, which you're actually not because you're telling us you're working out. Is it the problem? It never has been the problem for you. The problem is you actually playing the quarterback position at a high level. That's been the problem in your career. I laugh when some of these guys, you know, have some of these posts. Like I saw the wide receiver, what's his name, that was drafted. If I could think of the team that drafted him, I'll probably be able to think of his name. Man, I can't think of the team that drafted him, and I can't think of his name. But he was a high first-round draft pick, and he stunk in the league. He was terrible, but he was in tremendous shape. Always has been. Bears drafted him. The Bears drafted him. White. Is it White? Is it White? I feel like it's White. His last name is White. I can't think of his first name. Y'all know who the hell I'm talking about. Somebody help me. Help me. It's White. Bears. First round pick wide receiver. Anyway, y'all know who the hell I'm talking about. She shows off a video of himself, no shirt on, I'm talking about rocked up. Looks like Hercules. And he's like, I'm out here. You know, NFL teams. Kevin White. Thank you, guys. I knew you would come through for the kid. Kevin White. From West Virginia. Stunk in the league. But he posts this picture of him ripped to shreds. And he's like, I'm out here working. And I'm like, and he was like climbing up a rock, you know, some kind of rock hill. And I'm like, dude, that was never your problem. Your problem was never being in tip-top shape. Endurance, being cut, and physically fit. Your problem was being able to separate and actually catch the football. So if you want to show me a video, Show me a video of you separating from a DB and catching the ball. That's what you could show me if you want me to believe you're out here working in silence. But anyway, I digress. Back to Robert Griffin III. He posted that video, or that post. And I said, bruh, this shit is over, man. It's over. And I think him taking the audition for Fox and CBS is him somewhat acknowledging it. He hasn't quit. If somebody called him right now, he'd go quick, fast, and in a hurry. Nobody's calling. The phone's not ringing. I think he's acknowledging it. Shit is over, bruh. Truth hurts. Truth hurts. Shit is over. Should have been over the last time you got a gig with the Ravens. Because I'm still waiting on my 30 for 30. The rise and fall of Robert Griffin III, of course, is going to be called the rise and fall of RG3, but I don't like calling him RG3. His mama named him Robert Griffin III. I'm going to call him Robert Griffin III. But it's going to be called the rise and fall of RG3. I cannot wait. When he came back for the Ravens, when they gave him an opportunity to play, it's like the Hall of Fame and getting in. Because he got back into the league, they just pushed my 30 for 30 4 more years out into the distance. I was this close from the 30 for 30, period really being enacted because he was out of the league for like a year or two. And I was this close to having my 30 for 30 be right there in front of me where I could touch it. And then they said, hey, man, why don't you come play for us as a backup? Now I got to wait another 4 years. It's okay. I'll get it eventually. Truth hurts. Shit's over, man. And I was listening to him do some draft commentary. And this is the only thing I worry about him doing NFL games. He's so narcissistic. He still wants to make everything about himself. And so they'd be talking about a player. First of all, Kyle Shanahan can't stand you. Yet he's like, hey, Kyle, if you're going to, this was after the 49ers drafted Trey Lance. Hey, Kyle, if you want me to, help with Trey Lance and his development, all you got to do is give me a phone call. I'd love to come out and help. Negro, please. And he said it with a straight face. I was like, did he just ask Kyle Shanahan for a job? Did he just fix his lips? Man, truth hurts. Shit's over. Anyway, I digress. Tyrann Mathieu, in response to Le'Veon Bell's quote on socials, never play for Andy Reid again. I'd retire first before I do that. Tyrann Mathieu, in response, replies to that post by Le'Veon Bell that he would never play for Andy Reid again. He'd retire first before he did that. Fellas will blame everybody for their lack of success. Ouch. Truth hurts. Gotta let it burn. Tyrann Mathieu is right in this particular situation. Le'Veon Bell. First thing I thought of when this whole thing started, when I first saw what Le'Veon Bell said about Andy Reid. Look, apparently, according to Le'Veon Bell, Andy Reid said something to him that he didn't like. I don't know if it was derogatory, if it was attacking his character, or if he was just simply saying, bro, you're not Le'Veon Bell from 2018, 2017. You're a different dude now. Like, I personally, I don't know. I can't confirm nor deny any of this. I'm speculating because that's what we do here, right? Especially when you don't have all the facts, you speculate. You draw inferences. I'm assuming Andy Reid told this man to his face, bro, you're third best back on this roster. You'll get whatever carries you get. Like, he might have told him one thing when he signed him, and then when they got there, he got into the locker room, and he said, look, I loved Kansas City, loved everything about it other than Andy Reid. Loved the players in the locker room, loved the food, loved the fans, everything. I just wouldn't play for Andy Reid again. And Andy might have just been real blunt with him. You're not that dude, man. You view yourself in the same light as the Le'Veon Bell from Pittsburgh. You're not that guy. That guy died in New York with the Jets. You're just a guy now. And he probably didn't want to hear that. That's my guess. Here's the problem with Le'Veon, and let me go back, because I started down this path, and then I backtracked, and I started down the path again, and I backtracked. I'm all over the place. I'm scatterbrained. The first thing I thought of when I read his initial quote was, God bless Mike Tomlin. God dang. Did Mike Tomlin put up with some shit in Pittsburgh for years? You know, looking back on that stretch where there was Antonio Brown and Le'Veon Bell and Martavis Bryant all in the same locker room, and I'm thinking to myself, how in the hell did Mike Tomlin keep that shit together? That was a powder keg. That was a volcano waiting to erupt on a weekly basis, and yet we never knew about it until the aftermath. Okay? We didn't know about just how dysfunctional these guys all individually were, and if you put them all in the same locker room, how explosive and corrosive they could be. And he kept it together, and the Steelers were winning games and making deep runs into the postseason. Yikes. Anyway, back to present day. Le'Veon Bell isn't that guy anymore. He's not that dude. Truth hurts. He's not that dude anymore. You're 29, bruh. And, you know, it's crazy because you look at him and you say, hey, the mileage may not be gone because he had that year off. And I'm saying, between him being a workhorse in Pittsburgh when he was healthy, a couple of nasty injuries in Pittsburgh early in his career, and then the beating and the ass whooping he sustained in New York with the Jets, he ain't that dude, bro. He ain't that guy anymore. He's probably the oldest 29-year-old not named Todd Gurley. And I don't know how old Todd Gurley is, but Todd Gurley's knees are probably 45 going on 50. And Todd Gurley might be 27, 28 years old. Le'Veon Bell, he ain't that old, but he ain't that dude no more either. And he's like, well, yeah, I'll get work when I want to get work. And, you know, I won't make the same mistake I made last time and rush to sign with a team, this, that, and the third. And I'm looking around at him like, bro, you'll be lucky if somebody picks up the phone and calls your ass. You out here talking like you that guy. You're not that dude. And I'm thinking that's what Andy Reid told his ass. Like, seriously, you're not that guy no more. That's not who you are. Truth hurts. And I told you a lot of times with these players, and it's not just NFL players, you know, boxers, all of that stuff, they're usually the last to find out that they're not the guy no more. You know, if you got enough yes men around you, you usually the last dude to find out you not this shit. So I got a story. Let me tell you a quick story. This has nothing to do with nothing. It ties into the conversation we're having right now. I was in Atlanta a couple Christmases ago. We used to go to Atlanta for Christmas every year. And we went to a club. And they had old school R&B night, which it really technically wasn't that old school. When I hear old school R&B, I'm thinking, you know, early 90s, even mid 90s, because we're getting old. I'm getting old now. So mid 90s, early 90s, maybe 80s, late 80s. It was like the early 2000s. But I got to realize early 2000s is damn near 2 decades ago. So shit. I mean, it is old school when you think about it. But anyway, so on the menu that night was Lloyd, which I'm a massive fan of Lloyd. All right. And he put on a hell of a performance at the club. Man, was it awesome. I could have enjoyed Lloyd performing for an additional 30 minutes. His set could have been a lot longer, and I would have enjoyed every minute. Matter of fact, he could have taken up the set of the next guy that performed. And that was Case. And Case had some hits. Case had some really good music. Problem is, Case still thinks that he's Case from 98. Touch me, tease me Case. In high demand. I think he's got some issues, personally. You know, I hate to see people struggling. I think he might be struggling with some shit. That's nor here nor there. So he shows up late. He comes out. He forgets the words to his shit. And he still thinks in his mind he's touch me, tease me case from 98. And the reason he does is because the people around him have on Case shirts. And I'm looking like, bro, you too damn old to be wearing a shirt with another man's name and face on it. But when you got people around you, insulating you, making you think that you're still the shit, you're still the guy, that you still in your heyday, you're still in the prime, you're still on the charts, it's still 98, you killing them on the soundtrack to the Nutty Professor. When you think that that's what's going on, when you think Beyonce is still in your video, when you ain't realized Beyonce is a megastar now. She was in your video. Happily ever after. When you realize that's not what's going on, bruh. You an afterthought right now. But he doesn't realize that because he got clowns in his entourage wearing his shirt like they 12 years old. Gotta be family members, by the way. If you're not blood related to him and you got on a shirt of a 47-year-old man and you got a shirt and you 39, we got problems. We gotta have a talk. Anyway, I said all of that to say this. It sucks when you're the last one to figure out that you're not that guy anymore. And L.Bell. He was once known as L.Bell. He's just Le'Veon Bell now. He's not that guy anymore. Guys came into the league wanting to have the hezzy and the patience like Le'Veon Bell. He's not that dude anymore. So, truth hurts. And he thinks he's going to get work. He may. A rash of injuries happen. He may get a phone call like last year, but I could honestly see nobody. I mean, this is the thing that I can't understand with some of these guys. When he said what he said, I'm like, bro, do you not want to work anymore? You like being unemployed? Is that what are you attaining? Are you striving to not have work? Because where in your right mind do you think that saying what you said about a very respected, and we had this conversation about 4 months ago about how respected Andy Reid is in league circles. Andy Reid is running shit behind closed doors quietly. Andy Reid has as much pull as any coach in the league. And you gonna come out on socials and say, hey, I never played for Andy Reid? Like, where's the psychological sense in that, player? You think that's a good idea? You need to wash your face and get your mind right. And then afterwards, he said, I'm not backtracking from what I said. The only thing I regret is me saying it in a public forum like social media. Well, duh. Too late now. He said, if I could go back, I wouldn't do it on socials. Well, you've been in the league long enough, bruh. You know better. You know better. You know better. No flex zone. You know not to be flexing like that on the socials. And you still did it anyway. That's what I just don't understand. You too old to be doing stupid rookie shit. I expect a young guy, second year in the league, to do some stupid shit like that. Say some shit on socials that he know, oh man, I effed up. Somebody gets in his ear and say, hey bro, you can't do that. You learn your lesson. You've been in the league too long to be making the same damn mistakes. But you think somebody's going to ring your line? They're going to hit your line up? I'll choose to play when I'm ready. I'm going to take my time. You're going to take your time because your phone ain't ringing. Truth hurts. Anyway, I digress.
Louie.